We are live. All right, just zooming in on the picture. We got one person in. I'm just trying to bring up the computer. I can hear echo.
You need to your side.
Hey Scott, what's up? All right, mute that. All right, what's going on, everybody? It's Ray from Philly here, and this is episode number 4 on top 10 baseball cards. Tonight I'm doing the top 10 post-war rookie cards, and I'm joined by Mike Baseball Collector. Yo and hello, Mike.
Yo and hello, everybody.
What's going on? So I'm just trying to see people.
Man, ready to talk to you.
Yeah, we got 6 people on. I think we can. Snoop's on. Hey Snoop. Hey Raider Nation. So we're just gonna get the ball rolling, I guess. We think we have enough people that we could start. We got 6 now, and we just want to wait a couple more. 7 people on. All right, so we're gonna.
I'll handle the comment.
Okay, let's start with the honorable mentions. All right, so me and Mike came up with a top 10 list, and we did 4 players on honorable mentions that just missed the top 10, starting with the 49 Bowman Duke Snider. So that is our first honorable mention. And Mike, what do you think about that? Would you agree with that?
I would. I need this card, actually. It's in the top 300. And a really difficult card to find. It's not hard to find. It's a little pricey. And, hey, Michael, Scott, Gary, Snoop, got a lot of people on. But I need it, so what are you doing?
No, I'm just trying to find the right page here. Just wanted to get to the chat room and make sure I didn't miss any chat. But since you're in the chat part, you take care of the comments.
Deal.
49 Bowman Duke Snider. I want to. This is a card for the post-war rookie. It's also in the 300 grade card set. It's just got a really nice background. And yeah, you're right. It's very expensive. Even in mid-grade, this card goes for a lot of money. And a 5 is probably, well, I could pull up the prices right now. A 5 right now, an average price VCP is $739. I actually undervalued that. I thought it was around 500. And as you can see, the 5 mid-grade price, the average is $739. So we're going to keep the ball rolling here, so we don't want to keep this too long. Our next honorable mention is the Pepto-Bismol card, the 1959 Topps Bob Gibson. I really like this card. I don't care about the pink. The card this in mid-grade value around a PSA 5 is saying is not that bad, $332. So the card, has been pretty steady. 10 years ago, actually more than 10 years ago, well, roughly 11 years ago, the card was $127, and a PSA 5 is now $374. You have this card. What grade do you have it in, Mike? Like a 5, I think?
Mine's I can't afford a 5. I want to say mine's a 3.
Okay.
I'll look that up, though. But I like it, too. I don't mind the pink. I actually think
it's different.
Just interesting. Yeah. I don't have a problem with the pink. Mine is a
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Hey, Caitlin. Yeah, I mean, it's a great card. Hey, Gary. I really like the card a lot. It's on my agenda for my goals that I'm setting at the end of this year for next year. It's one of my cards that I want for next year is the Gibson. So the next honorable mention is 63 Topps Peter Edward Rose. And this card is very expensive. Well, we're going basically mid-grades. We're not even looking at the high grades. A PSA 5 in this card, average price is $718. So, I would be definitely looking at probably a 3 or a 4. The card is done very well.
What's a 6 in this card?
A 6 in this card is $1,000.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That's crazy.
What's the number? Is it a high number? That's what I think.
It's card number 537, so I would say yeah.
It's a high number.
It's a high number.
That's why.
Yep. But this is on my bucket list. My Hank Aaron's number 1 for me, but this is my second bucket list card. But it just missed the top 10. Moving right along, this just missed the top 10 is the 55 Topps Sandy Koufax. This card's awesome. It just missed making the top 10. Mid-grade card for this in a 5 is going for $705.
Yeah, you can see these are cheap.
No.
I have a 3 in that. What's a 3 going for?
A 3 VCP price is $400, $346.
Okay.
Which isn't that bad. I mean, that's still a good grade. Yeah, $346. So yeah, I mean, all things considering, it's Sandy Koufax, legendary pitcher. I love the yellow background. It's just a great, it registers really well. It's a great looking card. And
I love the inset picture of him kneeling on the dugout,
Yep.
Dugout steps. I think that's really cool.
It is a nice looking card. So if I look at just an idea, it says here 2006, the card, and we're looking at PSA 3. In 2006 was $149, and today is $325. So it's tripled, almost tripled in the past 10 years. So it's done a nice steady increase over the past 10, 12 years.
What's cool about that is you can now see that you don't just have to get mid and high grade cards. If they're key cards, you can get lower grades and still at least maintain your money, if not grow it, right? I mean, in terms of an investment.
Right.
You don't always have to go for 7, 8s, and 9s, right?
Right. Well, I'm going to let the cat out of the bag on this one a little bit. I actually did just win this card.
What grade?
2.5.
Okay.
I won it from collectauction.com, and I have 30 days to pay it off, so I told the guy I will be paying this off sometime in January. So you're not going to be seeing this card pretty soon, but it's centered really, really well. And, I mean, the corners are soft, but, I couldn't turn this down. But a 2.5, let's see if I overpaid for it. It's going for $273, and that's about what I paid for it at a 2.5. So, I'm thrilled with that. You'll see that probably in about a month from now.
Yeah, it's a great card, though. Absolutely great card.
So now we're finally cracking the top 10. All right, so at number 10 is a modern card, somewhat modern, is the 89 Upper Deck Ken Griffey Jr. And this card in a 10 is averaging $409. And what a drop from a 9 to a 10. A 9 is $55 on this card. It's just amazing.
And that's one, I used this as an example not long ago in a video when I was talking about 9s being just fine, kind of joking.
Mm-hmm.
But the difference is so crazy, and it's because of the population, right?
Right.
There are, I don't know, how many 9s are graded. Does it give you a pop report on that? on VCP?
No, that's only on the PSA site.
I'll be looking that up while you're talking about this awesome baseball card.
Yeah, it's a classic card. I mean, I'll just get people the graph chart from the past. It's going back to 2008, and I'm looking at Gem Mint 10, $167, and that's 10 years ago, and now is about 450. So it's done a nice increase, especially since he got inducted a couple of years ago. But this is the 1989 Upper Deck Ken Griffey Jr. It's doing, I think it's pretty much leveled off right now, but over time it probably steadily increase a little bit each year. And
you got to guess how many Griffies are graded total.
In Gem Mint 10s or all together?
All together, and then I'll break it down for you.
I'm going to say 4,000.
68,000.
6,800 or 68,000?
68,000 Griffey cards are graded just by PSA. That doesn't include SGC and BGS, right?
Right.
There's 3,553 tens, which is about 5% of the total. That's about normal.
Right.
22,713 or 9, which is what I have. You have a 9 also, right?
Right.
And then there's 28,940 that are 8s. So over half the cards, 50,000 of the 68,000 are 8s or 9s.
Right.
So that's what you're going to find. And there's so many of them. And that's why that price from 9, there's almost 10 times as many 9s as there are 10s.
Yeah.
And so, or at least 8 times, and therefore you're paying 8 times the price.
Yeah.
That's right.
Well, there might be some truth to going to the 89 Donruss because there's so much less of that card, and a couple years ago the 10 was going for about $60 and now it's over $200. And it's a pretty cool looking card with the purple borders, but that's another option for people if they don't want to go with the 89 Upper Deck. Don't be shy in looking at the 89 Donruss. It's a great, great card, and it's tripled just in the past 2 years. I mean, in a Gem Mint 10. So I would keep an eye on that Donruss card for sure. But we're going to move on to number 9, which is another classic card, 49 Bowman, Roy Campanella.
Gorgeous card.
Yep. Mid-grade on this and a 5 is $453. But this card I definitely would love to have in my bucket list. I don't have. Let's see what the graph is showing, what it's done. It was $300 in 2006 and is now, did have a high of $650. The last sold at $500, so it's around $500 to $600. It's great looking card. Junk Wax Kid is saying the Donruss PSA 10 is a pop of $1,400, so it's a lot on the 89 Griffey. So that's definitely a lot lower than his 89 Upper Deck. That's why that card has just really doubled and tripled in the past couple of years. But back to the Bowman Campanella. This is on your radar for next year, isn't it?
Yeah, this is definitely a card that I want to try to get. It's so simple, and I love how, the 49 Bowman's, the first series or whatever, doesn't have the name.
Mm-hmm.
And then the later cards, they put the name on it.
Yep.
So there's no name on the front of this card, which is fine. You know who it is the minute you look at it.
Yeah.
It's Roy Campanella.
And there's a lot of great rookies. This is an iconic set. This is set. I mean, everyone talks about 52 tops or 54 tops, 33 Gowdy. There's some classic sets, but 49 Bowman is loaded with rookies like Richie Ashburn, and we already showed Duke Snider and Robin Roberts. There's just a ton, and to mention Satchel's first card, great card, but 49 Bowman Campanella is a phenomenal looking card, definitely.
It was the first big set post-war.
Yeah.
You had some more regional sets, smaller sets.
And it's a better looking card than the 48 Bowman, which is black and white.
Right.
And they added the color to it, so it just appeals to the eye a lot better than 48 Bowman. So yeah, I definitely agree. This was a good choice to put in the top 10. That's at number 9. 8, we just said how we didn't like 48 Bowman, and how number 8 is a 48 Bowman Yogi Berra. And this is something, you have this card. What is the grade that you have on this?
I do have this card. I have it in a 2, so pretty low grade, but it's expensive. Look how expensive it is.
It's $184, the VCP.
And then what about like if you wanted to get a 4 or 5?
I don't look. A 4 is $374.
Okay, that's not terrible.
And a 5 is $560.
Isn't it amazing how, it's more. And what's funny is when you get down in the lower grades, 2s, 3s, 4s, 5s, all 5s are not created equal, right?
Right.
And just as all 4s, and it gets even more important the lower you go, ironically.
Right.
Because you can have all kinds of issues with a card. And again, you guys buy the card, not the label.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's been some talk in the community about getting some of the really, really big cards in authentic altered, and it's going to be a lot cheaper. And if you're okay with the card being altered, but it's definitely an authentic card, I would go for it. I mean, it didn't get a grade because someone altered the card, but it's still, way more affordable, and it looks great because it could have no creases on it. The centering could be good. Probably the centering is going to be good because of it being altered. So, but I would be fine with it. But I'm talking about for different cards, not on the Berra. The Berra is somewhat affordable. But yeah, you got the card in a PSA 2. The average VCP is about $190 on that. And just to give you an idea where it was in 2006, it was about $80. So it's more than doubled. So I'm looking at the graph right now. It's done pretty well. I mean, it's a great card. It's definitely an iconic card. It's Yogi Berra's rookie card, so you can't go wrong with that. So we're up to number 7. And that's the 48 Leaf Satchel Paige. And you don't even want to know what this is going for. In a 1 is $7,000.
No.
Average VCP price in a 1, I'm looking right at it, $71.98.
So you're saying we'll never have that card?
No, we'll never have the card. The last one sold, it says here, on October 4th of this year on Mile High, and it sold for $71.98. The last one sold 3 years before that on Clean Sweep for $3,600. So it's almost doubled what it practically has in 3 years.
Wow.
So yeah, this is definitely card worthy of top 10 as this card. And it looks cool. It's got a little background. It's got the red banner down the bottom. Big old satchel grin on his face, looking down. Cleveland hat. Looks great. It's a great looking card.
I love it.
You don't have this card?
No, I do not have that card. It's a definite. Remember that now.
All right, let's keep moving. Rolling the ball here. We got 9, 8, 7, 6. Number 6. You just picked this up at the National. 54 Topps Ernie Bass. Love this. With the Bear logo on the top corner. Love this card. This is a phenomenal looking card. What did you get? You got a good deal. What did you get? A PSA 4?
I got a 4, and I'll tell you what card number is it. I'm going to tell you what I paid for it. I paid $460 for it.
You got a good deal because the VCP on this, on a 4, is almost $600.
Well, there you go.
572.84.
Actually, Andrew helped me pick that card out. Andrew walked around with me my last day, and I was like, what do I want to get? I want to get something. You know, you go to the National, you want to get stuff that, I mean, you can buy this stuff on eBay, right? So,
Right.
the issues, I remember I got that at the National. And I think if you're patient, you can find good deals, you know? So, $460 I paid for that card, you know, looks like I got a good deal.
You got a great deal, man. I mean, that's a phenomenal deal. I mean, let's look at what this card was in 2006. And the grade I'm looking at is your grade. It was about $225 in 2006. And the highest it's sold for was $750 this year.
Wow.
So, but the average for about $600. So yeah, that's a phenomenal deal.
I need to go back in a time machine and get all these cards, right?
Yeah, I would say so. But yeah, this was.
Collector Jonathan said the key is patience, and he's right. I mean, you guys, if y'all look at, well, Dave's on here now, Blue Jacket 66.
Hey, Dave.
Collection or my collection or other people's collections that you admire, none of us got there overnight.
No.
Ray, your collection, we've all been collecting for decades.
Decades.
And, like, literally decades. And so for you new collectors out there, have patience. You know, there will always, Dave and I were talking last night before we did our episode, and I was telling him how much I was bidding on all these things that were ending last night while we were on the show. So I was joking around with Dave. I said, hey, I'm going to bid on all these things. He said, why don't you use Snipe? And I said, you know, Eric always knows my tops because I don't use Snipe programs. And the reason I don't is there'll always be another one.
Right.
And so, you know, they're not one of a kind. There's plenty of them. And so I did what I want to bid. If I win, if I don't, I don't. There will always be another one. So
yeah, for sure.
There you go. That's just, and that's true on. I want you guys to realize that as you. It's the hunt. There's a lot of ways to hunt, and getting a good deal, and being patient. And we live in this society of I want it all now, and that's just not a good way to collect baseball cards.
Right.
You're going to be frustrated and overspend, right? So
you gotta have a game plan and stick to what you want and stay with that game plan. Because if you start to veer off the tracks, you start overspending, like you said, and you start buying more than what you want. You just gotta make it. You know, this is the time of the year when we do videos where we do a recap video of what we got this year. And then usually at the last week of December or first week of January, we do a goals video of what our goals are for next year. And you just got to stick to those goals. I usually stay pretty good to it. Usually later on the year, I find something that I can't pass up. But for the most part, whatever goals you set on your goals video in January, you should really stick to it. You'd be saving yourself a lot of money. But that was 10, 9, 8, 7. That was number 6. Number 5 is the 68 Topps Nolan Ryan. I just got that card this year in a 4.5.
that was one of your gold cards.
That was one of my goals for this year was this card, and the Carlton rookie, and the Catfish rookie, and the K line. So I got all 4 of the goals. But this is I got it in a 4.5. VCP is saying the 4.5 is 326. I think I paid 300, so I got it a little below VCP, which is good. And this card is just always going up. I mean, and it's a possibility you could have another. I don't know why Jerry Koosman's not in the Hall of Fame. That's another topic, but he has numbers that he has almost like 222 wins or something. I mean, he has great numbers, but to dream, you know, if you can have both these guys in the Hall of Fame, this card would be astronomical.
You know, it's an all-time classic card. Most people hate the dual or triple rookie cards, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I don't personally mind them. I think it's neat.
on a PSA 3, it's $216.
Wow. So I paid $160, but I paid that 4 years ago, more than 4 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
So that card hasn't gone up a whole lot because there's a huge pop on this card, right? In all grades, there's a lot of them out there.
Right.
It's probably, of all the cards we're talking about, other than the Griffey, one of the easiest cards to find.
Yeah.
Solid PSA grade, because there's just so many of them. Nolan Ryan's been so good for so long that a lot of these have been graded and submitted. So.
Yeah, I mean, in 2006, the card it was in your grade, the 3 was $115. So it's going up. It's double to $245. So it just goes to show you, even in low grades. I mean, yeah, the higher grades are going to go up a higher percentage, but even in the low grades, even if they go up 5% a year, they're still going up. So some of these top 10 cards are what we're trying to say is don't be scared to buy a 1 or a 2 or a 3. I mean, yeah, if you have the finances, it's great to get the higher grades, but it's fine to get a 2 or a 3 or a 4. It depends on the player, and Nolan Ryan's one of them. He's a classic card. That's why we have him at number 5.
Yep.
So at number 4, we have the 67 Topps Tom. Will Bill Dennehy, whoever that is, or another combo card. And I don't own this card.
Nor do I, because it's freaking expensive.
I think this is overly expensive, in my opinion. I've said that a few times, but... And let's see the card number on this. It's 581, so it is a high number.
Yep, it's a high number.
And Eric said it's a short print. Yep, it is a short print. So just to give you an idea, in a 5.5 grade is $700. On just a mid-grade 5.5 is $700 on the Tom Seaver.
Like I'm looking for a 3 or a 4.
A 3 is $375.
Wow. That's still a lot of money.
Well, let's look how it's done. In 2008, it was $170. And like I said, now it's $375. So it's gone up $200 in 12 years. So it just consistently, I'm showing the chart now. It's just consistently, a nice increase. And that means at this pace, 10 years from now, this will be a $500 or $600 card. It's just going to keep on going. So is this one of your goals for the National as the Seaver, or just next year?
No, maybe next year, but
not at the National.
We haven't gotten to my National
goals.
Yes.
Okay.
We'll get there in just a minute. Like right now, probably.
Well, yeah. Number 3. Love this card. This is another bucket list for me. Is the 55 Topps Roberto Clemente. Yeah, this card is just awesome. Do you want to know what grade are you looking at? I can tell you right now what the VCP is on this card.
I'm going to go at least a 4 on this. I'm not going to settle for anything worse than a 4.
Okay.
Too iconic of a card. And I'm willing to play. I know the number's going to have a comma in it, so how much is it?
PSA 4 VCP average is 1155.88. 1,155.
I was thinking 100 that I'd spend on it.
And let's see what this card has done. Wow, this has really increased. It was in 2006 $497, and in 12 years it's tripled to roughly about $1,200, $1,155. It's almost tripled in 10-12 years. So this has really done well in the past 10 years. You're right. This is absolutely. And if the thing is on this card is what I've noticed, it's really hard to find it centered. My LCS has this card in a GAI holder in a 5, so that means PSA will probably come down to a 4. But I don't like it because the centering's awful, so it's a really tough card to get centered is the Clemente rookie. But is
And
this?
Eric asked, sorry to interrupt you. Eric asked, what about a 3 like my Aaron? And maybe.
Well, you were looking for a 4. A 4 is 1155, and a 3 is 841. So it's almost $400 difference just in one grade.
Yeah, and that's $400. See, the way I look at it is, if I could find a nice 3, if Eric can help me find one next year, and that's $400 I can spend on other stuff, right?
Yeah.
Because I want the card. I really, and I want it in case, so I know it's real. And I want a nice looking copy.
Let's put it this way. If you could find a 3 that looks like the Aaron, I would get it. I would get this Clemente in a 3. Absolutely, all day long. Remember we were just saying it's not the grade, it's the cards. So if you can find this card in a 3 and it's centered really well for
what I my collection is something like that.
I think that's a good idea. I mean, if you can, and I'm sure the National will have a really beautiful 3. I mean, if it's centered even 55-45, absolutely, I would go for this card all day in a PSA 3. Definitely.
There will be hundreds of Clemente rookies available.
Yeah, I'm wondering, now that you mention that, what is the pop, if you can look up the pop on, say, a PSA 3, while I'm showing the people the charts. Yeah, Caitlin, I think Joe Silverjackify does have a really nice Clemente. I'm not sure what grade it is. It might be a 4. Off the top of my head, I don't know. But yeah, I'm looking at 2006, $311, and look at the increase. It's done really well. It had some cool spikes here in 2016. Another big hit. Came back down a little bit, and it's averaged at $800. So, $311 in a 3 to now $850. It's almost tripled. So I would have no problem getting this card in a 3. I mean, there's just certain players like Gowdy, Ruths, and Gehrig that you can get a low grade, and it's just going to, and if as long as it has eye appeal and it looks good and presents well and it registers well and there's no like snowing on the card or any creases, and I can put up with rounded corners all day. I don't care about the corners as long as the centering's good and the clarity's good. Yeah, I would have no problem getting a 3.
So there's 700 or so 3s or 3.5, and then there's almost 1,000 4s. There's only one. There's 110.
Dang, wow.
This is the most popular grade. So, in terms of population.
You know what you could do, and NY Yanks fan goes for this a lot, is getting the half grade at 3.5, which is better, nowhere near as expensive as a 4. It's $900 for a 3.5. So that's just an option too. I love the half grades because you're getting a slightly better card, almost a 4 value, and you're saving a couple $100. Like the 4 is $1,200 and a 3.5 is $925. So it's just a thought. It's an option to look at it. Look at them all. Look at a 3, look at a 3.5, and take it from there. But number 2, and this is a biggie, 48 leaf Jackie Robinson. I don't even want to begin to know where this card is going and where it's been.
It's a lot.
Yeah, it's a lot. Yeah, I mean, we can do a low grade on this. Pick a number 3. A 3 average is 2878. 2018 $878 on a PSA 3. That is just remarkable. And I really, really love the look of this card. I love the background. It looks phenomenal. It just looks great, presents well.
I love it, love it, love it.
Authentic Altered goes for about $1,100. So I know Dave, Blue Jacket 66, had talked about Authentic Altered cards. If the card doesn't have any creases, which a lot of the Authentic Altereds don't, they don't have any creases on them. They look really well. They're centered good. They've just been altered and they're authentic. That's the only way I could see me getting this kind of a card. But a PSA 3, just to give you an idea, was $400 in 2006, and is now averaging almost $3,000 12 years later. And we're just talking a 3. So yeah, I mean the authentic on here is $1,156, so it's 60% less than a 3, and I would have no problem getting that.
Isn't it crazy though? It's over $1,000, and it's just authentic. Like, that's just crazy.
It's just an authentic card, but the card could probably look great because it's been trimmed.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's an authentic card.
Beautiful baseball card.
I mean, sure. Isn't the Honus Wagner trimmed? Supposedly.
Actually, the Gretzky one?
That's a trimmed card. It's been admitted in the card, the book called The Card, that I forgot the guy's name now, that whatever. Yeah. Wait.
Wrote the book, and I actually met him at Cooperstown. He was there in Cooperstown.
Okay.
Reading of that book and signing it. He and the lady that wrote it with him. And I have their signatures in my book. So.
Yeah. It's a phenomenal looking card. It's definitely worthy of being number 2 in our opinion for top 10 post-war rookie cards. And that only leaves us with one more card. So, and that's Hank Aaron.
Dave, of course, said he has the Jackie Robinson 48.